All right, guys, it's been too long. This is another collector spotlight episode, and it's with a guy that I've never personally spoken to. I've sort of followed him from afar, really afar, like 10,000 miles to the east or west, depending on which direction you want to go to get to Malaysia. This is my friend Pong. He has come on the channel to sit down and talk cards, talk content creation, talk post Panini to Fanatics transition, talk about pricing. He is I'm going to say 95% investor, 5% collector. But wait till you see the 5 cards he keeps in his collection. This dude only keeps 5 cards in his collection. I thought consolidating was hard. This guy's got it down to 5 cards. No exceptions to the rule. So we're going to talk a lot about card investing today and just current status of the market and where we think this thing is going in the future. Enjoy this interview with my good friend Pong from way over in Malaysia, who talks about how different it is, good and bad, to collect basketball cards in Malaysia compared to the United States. Enjoy.
Ship My Cards is your U.S. shipping address and secure storage facility. Every package is processed, photographed, and uploaded directly to your personal inventory. We securely store your collectibles until you're ready to ship them home or send them off to a buyer. With your membership, you save on postage and taxes, plus unlock access to exclusive collector services. Ship My Cards, your complete collector solution.
All right, guys, Bryan with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana, and it has been way too long since I did a collector spotlight video. You guys love these. I had to go 10,000 miles away to find my man in Malaysia. Talk to me. Tell the people who you are. Tell them that it's 10 p.m. there. It's 8 p.m. here. Who would have thought a guy from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and a dude in Malaysia will be talking about sports cards on YouTube?
That's right, man. Thanks, Bryan, for having me. What's up, guys? Most of you guys know me as the Card Boss, and I have my own podcast called the Courtside Investor Podcast. So hopefully some of you guys do watch my channel. I run a podcast and I do interview a bunch of big guys on YouTube. I haven't got you on yet, though.
My time's come. I'm at your service. You came on. I'm going to reciprocate. So you just tell me when. I can do it late at night, or I can do it very early in the morning. It's the only way it's going to work for both of us.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Great to be here, man.
Tell everybody. Okay, so is it Pang or Pong? I want to make sure I pronounce it right.
Most people here call it Pang Ming. Okay, but I know that a lot of guys from the US have a bit of trouble pronouncing Pang. So Pang's fine as well.
Yeah. All right, let's get cranking. So I've got a real, I'm not very organized. If you've watched any of my stuff, I usually just hit the record button and then we just figure it out, right? We're meeting for the first time. We have never spoken except for about 5 minutes ago, and then we hit the record button and we're rocking and rolling. You texted me last night, or you messaged me on Instagram. I was at the game. I got to watch LeBron and Luka. Probably the last time I'll get a chance to see LeBron, because the Lakers visiting New Orleans down here. So I got the Pelicans, and I took my 11-year-old because I knew this is probably the last time he and I are going to get to see LeBron. And he had 2 of the best dunks of the year, man. I mean, it was bananas. He had a huge alley-oop, and then he had his, patented kind of windmill, although his windmill's getting a little shorter at age 41, Pong? But so I'm glad you could join us on the channel. You're in Malaysia. I'm here in Baton Rouge. Before we even get cranking, I want you to tell me, how do you fit in the hobby as a collector? We're going to talk about your YouTube channel. We're going to talk about your IG page, and you're doing some great stuff in the content creation sector. But I want to talk about you as a collector. Tell us who you are as a collector.
All right, awesome, man. So for me, I've been working in finance for 20 odd years. Okay, so all the while, actually, I've been TCG, and it's only during the pandemic that I came back to SPORTSCARD after watching a bit of Gary Vee, Jeff Wilson, and then I kind of already had this buying and selling juices flowing, and that's what I wanted to do with sports cards. Okay, and I didn't really, I enjoyed the game. I love watching NBA. I'm an Orlando Magic fan. Okay, so, but there was at the time no really specific players that I really wanted to collect. So which means that every single card that I bought, I kind of had no attachment to it, and then I move on to flip, to sell, whether it's in a short term or long term. But it's only towards the middle of last year that I decided that I need to hold some cards or to collect some cards, right? But people tend to collect their favorite player. People tend to collect favorite sets, but I wanted to kind of have a little bit of a methodology for myself, So I talked a bit to Adam Gray, a common friend that we have, or know how the ways they collect. I kind of get a lot of inspiration but from talking to him as well. So for me personally, my collection comprised of just 5 cards. Right?
Oh, wow.
And yes, just 5 cards. And
here we go.
It's not even complete yet. It's still in a process of curation. But the way I collect is I only want one of each for Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and Steph. And the 5th card could be any one of the other 4 players. So my goal is to basically to improve on these 5 cards. So which means that I'm gonna get 5 of the best cards I can get for my collection.
Yep.
And as time goes on, I just want to improve. So for example, if I have a Jordan now, if I find a better Jordan that I have, I just want to replace it.
Amazing. That is incredible. That's so concise. I'm so jealous. My brain, I can't control it. I can't stay in the lane. I mean, I'm collecting soccer. I'm collecting Marvel. I'm collecting Jordan. Now I'm collecting Kobe. Now, I haven't told anybody about that yet, but I'm even collecting Kobe now. So I'm in your world. I think, Pong, I think you picked the 4 most collected basketball players in the hobby. I mean, am I right? I think those have the 4 highest demand of all of the basketball players in the hobby. I guess Shaq could be knocking on the door maybe, but I think you nailed the 4. I think that's Rushmore from a hobby standpoint. What do you think?
Correct. So, of course, for me, I actually had opportunity to watch Jordan play, Kobe as well, Steph, obviously, and LeBron. But, of course, I'm also thinking on the financial aspect, where these are the 4 players that have a longer future value. Right, so that's important to me as well. Of course, I do enjoy watching other players from the 90s, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Shaquille O'Neal. But from a collection and the cards I want to buy, these are the 4 guys that I'm focusing on.
Obviously, you're buying more than those 5 cards because you're investing as well, right? So a lot of cards come in from the investing mindset, only 5 for the collecting mindset. That is novel. Correct. That is unique. I don't think I've ever heard that. So I'm going to ask you this question. I like to ask people that come on the channel this question, and there's been a lot of talk about this lately with this Hobby Spectrum project that Jeremy Lee's working on. He's about to release it. Everybody fits somewhere on, we'll call it the hobby spectrum, right? Investor, collector, somebody on a sliding scale. You're either one way or the other, and some people are smack dab right in the middle. I would assume, since you came back in 2021 and the names that you listed and the fact you're in finance and the fact you like to buy low, sell high, and the fact that you only collect 5, but you invest a lot, I would have guessed you're a lot closer on the investor side of things. Is that fair?
I actually took the spectrum. So I'm actually a builder.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we're going to talk a lot more about that.
Yeah, the questions were tough, but I think that the way the question is formulated, it kind of led me down a path of trying to build towards a goal. Now, even though the collecting goal is what I just mentioned, but I'm also building a business. So kind of like, I guess that's where I ended up as a builder.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. And I think I may have broken the thing because, I like to collect soccer sets, cheap sets, $100,000 cards, $4 cards, soccer, basketball, Kobe, Jordan, ultra modern, old, vintage. I'm all over the place. So I think I might have broken that thing. I don't think it was having fun trying to figure out where I fit. I was actually, when it spit me out, I was literally directly in the middle, like straight square in the middle, and it said hybrid. And I was like, that's really funny because for years I've been telling people I'm kind of a hybrid because yes, there's cards I never want to let go of, but then there's also like if the money makes sense, I'm gonna get out of these and get some more of these cards that I'm never gonna let go of. That's cool, man. So tell me in order. You got to rank those guys in order. Which one is a priority? Like you got MJ, you got Kobe, you got Curry. And did you say LeBron?
Yeah, and LeBron.
Rank
so, I mean, that's tough, man. That's tough. So, in terms of being a fan, I'm a Kobe guy.
Yeah,
number 1, and then followed by LeBron. I know a lot of people kind of debate this. Steph number 3 and Jordan number 4.
Oh, I'm about to turn this off right now. I'm about to turn this thing off. Right, I'll fly 10,000 miles over there and start.
But to be fair though, amongst the 4, I still definitely believe Jordan is the GOAT among the 4. Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, from the way the cards that I want to buy, or in terms of priority, which one I would rather have. or which one I would sell the last, I guess it will be in that sequence.
You got 5 cards. Let's see them. You got any of them on you? Can we talk through some of them? Can you share them?
I've only got 2 of them on me. I've
Okay.
got one with in the Fanatics Vault, which I can say what it is.
Yeah.
I've got another one on the way here, but I won't say it yet because I'm going to do a reveal on my channel.
Oh, yeah.
Only
Don't
Adam
jinx
Gray
it.
knows about it. But I am missing a Steph. Okay.
Okay.
So I can tell you that I don't have a good Steph. I do have a Steph Curry here, which is 2012 Immaculate. So this is a common one. So, but it's a nice Steph to have, and I kind of just sold it today actually. So,
Well,
but I am
that
looking
Steph's
for a good
out.
Steph.
You got another
Yeah,
one
Steph's
coming
out.
in. Okay. All right. That's great.
I haven't yet. I'm still looking for a nice Steph, and I always wanted to get a Steph logo man, but ever since the one that just sold on the Golden Elite for like 300 grand, I think I'm kind of like priced out of Steph logo mans for the time being. So
Yeah,
I'll be looking for
there's a
something
few segments of the hobby that have run wild on price. Obviously, Logo Mans or Logo Man, whatever you want to call it. You know, the Prism Gold has run wild. Obviously, Black Prism 1-of-1s, Nebula 1-of-1s, Kabooms have run wild. Downtowns, anything pretty much 2012 Prism is going crazy.
Correct.
So, yeah, it's interesting. So what about this recent trend in the hobby? This is off topic. I do not have this on my outline, but when you showed me that, Steph, it made me think of this. What about this recent trend? And you've been in since 2021. And I think safely we can say in 2021, rookie year cards meant a lot. Now we're seeing this new collector, this new investor come in, and there's been almost a de-emphasizing of the rookie year cards into rare, later non-rookie cards. It did not used to be that way. In fact, I'm old. I'm 51. I don't know how old you are, but I collected in the 80s. And when you collected in the 80s and even through the 90s, well, early 90s, rookie or bust. Like you got the rookie card or you didn't even want the card. And I think that started to change a little bit with inserts and parallels in the 90s, right? Which you're very familiar with. But now we've kind of gone off the rails to where, you know, who cares if it's a rookie card or not? I just want the fill in the blank, the gold, the cherry blossom choice, the tiger stripe, the whatever, you know. What do you think about this recent trend? Is this only going to be more emphasized, or do you think there's going to be a return to rookie cards mean more?
I think presently where the market is a lot of people are very financially motivated. So the cards that they pick is definitely, I would say more than 50% is financially driven, right?
Agreed.
So it's not because of aesthetics. It's not because of set, you know, maybe player to some extent, but I think financially driven it's the number one reason behind it. But I guess as these group of people that we're talking about today, as they continue to mature in the hobby, we're going to look at more important cards. You know, that's how you and I perhaps look at the 90s. Okay. And then maybe later on, they will continue to mature again and to find out that rookie cards are actually very important. Yeah. So I think rookie cards will get its time in the sun, you know, down the road, you know, especially when I just recently discovered, you know, I didn't know this prior to a couple of months back that true rookie cards, right? And talking about all the bigger sets like Immaculate and things like that, all have to become from the base set. So like flawless rookie patch autos are technically not true rookie cards. So that rookie logo that we see in the Panini era cards that sticks on every single rookie year for those rookies are not true rookie cards. So I didn't realize that, you know, even after being involved in a hobby for like 3 years or so, coming to 4 years now, right, at that time. And I just realized this, and I think that once people start to realize what is true rookie and why they matter and why it's important, these are the cards that's going to, you know, have good value down the road.
Yeah, it's using semantics. It's a way to kind of limit the crazy print runs that we're seeing now. Yeah. Tell me about that. Tell me your thoughts on 2026 Topps Chrome basketball, 2025 Topps. These products come out. There's hundreds, literally upon hundreds of parallels. There's multiple hundreds of parallel inserts, right? There may be 50 inserts, right. And of those 50 inserts, they may have 8 parallels. It's wild right now. Is it too much already? We didn't know where Fanatics was going. We didn't know if they were going to turn the faucet off from where, Panini left it, or if they were going to turn the faucet and try to do more. Well, we got our answer. What do you think about, let's just stick with the Topps Chrome product. Let me know your general thoughts on the Topps Chrome product. And have you bought any?
No, I have not. I don't break products, but I do
either.
have some opinions on this though. So I guess like what I mentioned earlier, right, a lot of people are very financially driven, when buying certain cards, or buying certain specifics, sets of products. Okay. So right now, when we look at the Panini era, of course, we talked about the parallels, the different parallels. And then towards, I think, 2020, 2021, instead of the 10 different parallels, we end up like 50 different parallels or something like that. And then, of course, people went into kabooms and downtowns because they were different from the parallels. And there was something to chase for, and that went up like crazy. And then now that we're coming into the Topps era, okay, it's starting all over again, right? With they're throwing tons of inserts. It's not just one or two. It's like I can't even know the names, right? There are so many of them in Topps Chrome, and then they have the parallels as well. So if everybody maintains to be financially driven, I think there's just going to be too much to choose from. But if everybody was, or not say everybody, but if people were in the hobby for collecting, I think it's a fun time to be a collector because you can put together really, really nice sets. I love the aesthetics of Topps Chrome. Like the inserts looks awesome.
They look great. There's so many. It pisses me off because I want them, but then the little birdie on my shoulder, the financial birdie. I'm a finance major too. I used to work in finance. Is like, what are you doing? Why are we buying this card? There's billions and billions of these. So then I start looking at the golds, right? I start looking at the gold parallel inserts, and I kind of talk myself into just dabbling a little bit, just dabbling. I'm not ripping product, but I'll pick a few off on eBay, raw, send them to PSA, and see what happens. Yep.
I mean, personally, I'm not into it right now, into any of the Topps products. Okay, so I'm still focusing on Panini stuff. People really didn't like Panini when Panini is around. Now that Topps is in play, and then people are looking back. Hey, let me go and look for some of the nice Panini stuff. Similarly to how we want to go look back at the 90s, chasing back 90s when we were in the Panini era.
Yeah. Let me go back. I buried the lead. What's your Jordan card? I should have asked you that.
Yes. So the Jordan card is currently in the vault, which I can say, and it's actually I kind of cheated a little bit. So it's a Jordan and LeBron dual autograph card. Yeah, it's the 2005 Upper Deck, the bonus pack dual. The one that they came in the Upper Deck products that they have 3 cards in a pack, and then they have parallels number 23, the gold parallels, and they have the 1-of-1 autograph cards.
Yes.
So it's a set of 10. There's 10 1-of-1s, and I've got one of them.
I know exactly. Is it a horizontal?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I know exactly the cards you're talking about. Yeah, there's a few 1-of-1s, and I saw it. It's a high grade. What grade did you pick up?
BGS 95.
Yeah, I remember seeing that card. Yeah, there's been a few of those that have sold over the last few years. It's a beautiful card. I mean, to be able to sit here and say, I've got a Jordan LeBron dual auto 1-of-1 in a gem mint slab is pretty badass, man. That's a good choice right there. And you did cheat because you got both of them on the same card.
Correct,
that's awesome. That's great.
But to be honest, that's not my preferred Jordan, right? I do have my sights set on a particular Jordan. I think that it's a bit expensive at this juncture. I don't think it'll get any cheaper though. But I just gotta kind of like build my way towards it.
Sure. Well, don't tell anybody because people gouge you, man. They'll go out there and they'll run you up, man. Then you know what they'll do.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about your content creation before we get to the Malaysia specific question, because I got a lot.
I just want to finish this up. So we'll finish the collection. So the Kobe I can't say because that's the one that's on the way. I'll reveal that soon. I do have the LeBron here though, which I can show. And I think I've showed this many times.
Oh yeah. I've seen it on your IG.
Yeah. So these are my
your babies.
Love, my babies.
Hey, listen, if you're going to collect 5 cards, you've told us 4 of them. You've got some good ones right there. You've got some good ones. Yeah. Am I crazy? When you came, I first saw your channel in 2021, and I was intrigued. You were new, you were novice, and I was like, you didn't have the fancy stuff. I know you didn't have that mic. It wasn't as polished, and I was watching it, but I couldn't stop watching you because a lot of the stuff that you were saying resonated with me, and it was the same stuff that I was saying, the same stuff I was thinking, and I kind of stuck with you, and I kind of kept watching you, and you've obviously grown. You've gotten so good at what you do over the past few years. When you first came in, you were dipping your toes in. You weren't buying stuff like you just showed us. You were buying baby stuff. I know for a fact because you were doing videos and you're like, I made $84. I made, $15. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep watching this.
Cards back then.
Yeah. And then you graduated. Now you got whales, man. You got whales and whales.
Yeah, definitely. So, I guess when in 2021, I think most people, that's when, pandemic time or post-pandemic a little bit, they started a YouTube channel. For me, I started a bit late compared to some of the guys that's still on YouTube, like Neo, Dustin. So these guys have started a bit earlier than me. I came a bit later. And I just wanted to, there were two goals actually. So cards were like fine. I wanted to showcase some cards or, kind of like make content. But the one thing that I wanted to really improve on was the way I speak, the way I talk, because I actually have a bit of trouble speaking in public, right? I'm actually quite an introvert, so I don't have that much confidence, especially talking in front of camera right now. So if you watch my earlier content, I think the first year or so, everything was just pointing at the desk, because I just didn't have the confidence to show my face. And then I was reading off a script. So I had a little piece of, a piece of paper. I'm literally reading off the script. I couldn't, put together good sentences, without cut and then redoing the whole process again. So kind of like evolve from that throughout the year. So definitely enjoy what I'm doing right now.
What, I mean, your maturity, like as a content creator, like the difference between you today and then you when you started is drastic. And you're right. I remember those days. It was just a camera pointed at cards on a desk, and I was like, who is this guy? Where is he? He's hiding in the shadows or whatever. You do an amazing job. Your channel's great. Now's a good time to actually share that. Let me pull that up real quick. So if anybody is not following and is not subscribed, go subscribe. So Pong is Card Boss 2021 on Instagram, but his YouTube channel is Courtside Investor Podcast. And so go hit a subscriber. You got 308 subscribers. We're going to get you to 500 in 7 days. I promise you. The people that are watching my channel are going to go out there. They're going to subscribe. You're going to get a 40% jump. I promise you. You got my word. We're going to get you over 500. You got 96 videos out there. So I know you're consistent. You're starting to build on it, and it just takes reps. And I know you know that. This is his Instagram. Make sure you give him a follow as well. The Card Boss 2021, no spaces or anything like that. And look, I mean, if you just scroll through, we know all these faces. We know all the guys you're having on. You had Adam Gray on. You're having Coleman on your channel. You got the Sports Card Dad, Dustin. You got Jeremy Lee. I mean, you got some big collectors. You got Carvin, the OG architect of everything, right, on the channel. And so you're getting the right folks on your channel. You do a better job than I do of getting people on the channel. I'm terrible at it, but anyway, all right, let's talk about Malaysia. Let's just get there. Let's go straight to it. Let's talk about Malaysia. Let's talk about the difference between collecting cards, investing in cards in Malaysia compared to the US. What's easier? What's harder? The first thing that comes to mind. What's easier? Let's start there.
Well, first and foremost, I gotta say, Malaysia is a very small in terms of sports card market. Our TCG market is huge over here. Okay. Pokemon is big. Magic Gathering is big. But in terms of sports, it's actually very small. And basketball is extremely small. I think our group is like maybe 50 to 60 people at most. We don't even have a dedicated sports card store in Malaysia. Yeah. So we buy products from online mostly. And a lot of the people are just casual. Most of us are just casual collectors. They buy some products. They join some breaks. They got a couple of good cards. They PC certain players still put their cards in binders. So that's typically the Malaysian sports card scene. All right. So you're
not small. Typical is what you're saying. Yeah. You stand out. You are a big fish in a very, very, very small pond. Most people don't know this, but this is why they pay me the big bucks, Pong. I know the number one sport in Malaysia, and it's not close. I know what it is. It starts with a B, but it's not basketball. It's not baseball. It's badminton, isn't it?
It's badminton. Yep, correct.
Badminton is huge in Malaysia. I would say y'all are the world leader in badminton from everything that I've ever read or heard. And just being old and 51 years old and being around on Earth for a while, you hear stuff like that and it resonates. You're like, damn, in Malaysia, they love freaking badminton. And I used to love it as a kid as well. Soccer's also big, yeah?
Soccer is huge. Of course, in terms of basketball, in terms of fans, right? There are plenty of basketball fans in Malaysia. But talking about the card collecting community, that's actually very small.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why, for me personally, I get to really expand on the stuff that I have is because I travel a lot. So I do go out to the rest of Asia. I do go to Hong Kong, Macau, China as well. So I'm exposed to different groups of people
Yeah.
across Asia. And then I see big cards, and I deal with the bigger cards and the bigger players around the region as well. So I do attend the big card shows that they have in the region in Macau. So I do attend the Macau card show, which is the nationals equivalent in Asia.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been meaning to get over to that one, but it's kind of a long way away. What about Chicago? What about 2026? What about 6 months from now? You going to be able to get over here?
I think I haven't planned for that one yet. So it's a bit far for me.
Yeah, it is a bit far. It's literally, I looked it up on ChatGPT. It's 10,000 miles from me to you. So that is no small feat. It's probably like
for 4 connecting flights or something like that.
yeah, exactly. Well, pretty soon you'll have your own jet and you can just do it on your own. You won't need all those connections. You just take your jet, right? You sell your LeBron logo, man, and you'll get your jet over. What's harder? What is difficult about collecting in Malaysia? What advantage do I have? And the folks that are watching this channel over here in continental US, what advantage do I have over you, just based on location?
Well, I said this on my channel before. Okay, you guys in the US, you're so privileged in the sense that you have tons of stores that carry products, singles. You have shows every weekend in every state. Okay, so in fact, maybe even like for you, right? I know you don't travel to that many shows, local shows, but it's easy for you to get there within a couple of hours drive.
Yeah.
So for us in Malaysia, we don't have that. Like coming from Malaysia, the only show that we look forward to is like Macau every year, whereby we actually will pay significant amount of money to fly. There are other shows around the region, like in Philippines, they have weekly shows, but the cost of just taking a 3-hour flight, just to attend a weekend show that not necessarily get any value from, it's kind of like it's a bit expensive for a typical Malaysian. Even though the cost of living in Malaysia is cheap, but relative to how expensive products are, it's a big deal. So, like for example, a blaster box, the typical blaster box is about, let's say, $30 in the States. That's 120 odd ringgit in Malaysia, which is typically you could buy yourself lunch for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't rip.
Okay, so
I would have to starve myself. That's not good.
That's just a blaster box. So we haven't talked about hobby, right? So hobby boxes typically, maybe to give you some context, right? A hobby box is like $1,000, I think.
Where are you going to get it? Where are you going to get your hobby box in Malaysia? You got to get it online.
The people they buy from online mostly, like from eBay or from I guess from Dave and Adams and stuff like that.
Sure.
So, but hobby box $1,000, right? It's most people's monthly salary. Like it's a whole month's salary to buy a hobby box. Yeah, so it's tough.
I know for a fact that some of the biggest, especially basketball card collectors in the world, are in the Philippines, and that's not too far away from you guys. And so I know the climate in the Philippines is very similar to the climate where I live here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's very similar. It's very humid. The weather changes drastically. There's all sorts of natural disasters with hurricanes and monsoons and fill in the blanks, all kinds of crap, right? Yeah. And I heard you mention earlier you vault at least a couple of your cards, a couple of your big boy card, right? Who do you vault with? What's been your experience with vaulting? What is your perspective of vaulting as somebody who lives in? I'm going to assume the climate in Malaysia is pretty serious, like down here, right? Like I just don't want my cards down here. I just don't trust the weather, and all sorts of other things. So I do vault my cards. Do you vault?
Yes, I do. So I guess if you talk about the weather first, it is humid here. We do get a lot of rain, a lot of sun, but I guess the weather is fine for cards overall. Of course, I've seen chrome cards turn green easily.
Sure.
I've seen cards warping easily as well. So that's something with regards to the weather. But when it comes to Vault, I do use Fanatics Collect Vault. I work with them very closely. It's part of my business as well to work with Vault, and I work with Alt now as well. We have Alt and Fanatics Collect, and because having cards, shipped back to Malaysia. Let's say, for example, I buy something from eBay. Having to ship back here is expensive. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And then we have to endure with taxes, duties and taxes for cards that's coming in. So any trading card that gets purchased for what's the number? So about $100 and above will be taxed 32% over here coming in.
So it's a no-brainer. You got a vault. It's not even a choice. It's you have to. It's
not a
mandatory.
choice. You have.
So you're not touching.
Yeah.
The buy low, sell high stuff that you're doing, the investor side, which we said is the biggest, focus of what you do. You're not touching these cards. These cards are arriving at your vault, and then they're being sold from your vault,
Going
and
out from there.
shipping from your vault to whoever buys them from you, whether it's through auction or private deal. Talk me through that process for you. Talk me through how much of your time is devoted to, and I do that. Like, it sounds like you and I are very akin. We're doing very similar things. I think I sold thousands of cards in the Fanatics Vault this year in particular, and never took possession of many of these cards. Is that kind of how you flow through cards as well? You may see a card on eBay. What about the grading? Are you okay with Fanatics getting your raw card, hitting it with the $3 thing, and then they ship it to PSA? I mean, obviously you can't request it home. That's where we're going to be different, because I like to wipe my cards with a microfiber. I just don't trust anybody to send it. Have you been using that service where a raw card will hit your Fanatics Vault and then you'll let them send it straight to PSA? How's it been going?
Right. So tons of questions here. So I'm going to try and address them one at a time. So we're going from the last to first. So in terms of grading, I actually use Fanatics Collect grading service, and I've used it twice. Oh no, I used it more than twice. But there were two significant cards which I actually covered it on my channel. Okay.
Yeah.
One was a raw 1997 Essential Credentials Penny Hardaway that I bought raw from eBay. Okay. So I had it shipped to Fanatics Collect directly and have it graded with PSA. And it got a PSA 7.
Okay. I'm super excited to announce that BCW is an affiliate partner of the Cajun Cardboard brand. When you check out at BCW, use the promo code Cajun to receive 10% off of your order.
Right. So I never touched a card. I have not seen, credentials, right? How
Diamond
sensitive
cut.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be easily a PSA 3 or 4. If I just looking at a photo, but I got a PSA 7. So that was an awesome result. And then I had an exquisite 2003 Carmelo Anthony. This is the true RPA. Okay. And I had that shipped from China. I bought a card from China. Okay. Shipped directly to Fanatics Collect, got it graded with BGS, and it got a BGS 8.5 and an auto 10, right? Okay. So that was another blind play as well. So fortunate with the result, but I seriously wouldn't recommend this to anybody, right? If you're given an opportunity to wipe clean your cards, inspect your cards, go for that. For me, it's just because I couldn't have the card shipped back here and then send it out myself, and at the time and the cost doing that whole process, right? It's just it may not be even worth it, right?
It kills your margins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, I started out in 2021, 2022 doing a lot of grading. Right. Back then it was easier. The rules weren't so tight, even though PSA was slow at sending back stuff. But I was still doing a lot of grading back then. I was doing that on my content. But in 2024, 2025 especially, I really slowed down a lot on grading. I think I graded a total of like 10 cards in the whole year.
Okay. I do something very similar to what you do, except that I do it. You mentioned the word privilege. I have the privilege of, when I build up maybe 30, 40 raw cards, I ship them from Oregon, from the vault over here. I might pay $100, with insurance and shipping and everything. It's not bad. And so I get those cards here. I get to look at them, put eyes on them, hit them with a microfiber, put them in the, the nice penny sleeves, put them in the card savers, and make sure, and again, if I ship 40 cards here, I might pull 8 of them. I might say, no, never mind. This has got to go back on eBay, or maybe I just keep it. And so that is a luxury. I don't think I could do it. And the only time I've ever let Fanatics just ship my raw cards for grading was when I had a bunch of red PMGs, because I didn't care what they graded anyway. And I knew there was nothing to do with them. The more you touch them, probably the worse they're going to get. And so I was like, just take them, send them, go. And it worked out great. You know, it worked out fine. That's the only time. But if you got a chromium card, I think you got to put eyes on it, man, because you can't see everything in these 2D images. There's going to be hairline scratches and things like that. You just have to see it for yourself. So it's tough. I like that they have that, but I just could never do it. I could never trust anybody to do it. So.
Right. Your case is because you buy collections. So, you know, chances are the previous owner were the only owners of those cards. So, you know, hasn't been filtered or been touched. So chances of them, you know, getting decent grades are pretty high. Yeah. So for me, you know, the way I buy cards is everything's online, right? So I'm buying through eBay, I'm buying from China, I'm buying from Fanatics Collect, you know, all these, there is a very high tendency that for raw cards, right, they have been filtered at least once. Okay. Yeah. Especially, you know, I'm not buying any of the ultra modern stuff, not those newly released products, right? Something that's a bit older than that. You know, even a 2018 or 2019 card, you know, chances are it's already been filtered. So the odds of getting a good grade is quite slim. So if I were to send that blind to Fanatics Collect to have it graded by PSA, I'm just expecting bad results.
Yeah. You know, the best grading reveals that I do and the most excited that I get is when the cards that I'm getting back, I don't have to get a 10. Like, I'm going to be happy no matter what I get. You know, if it's a PMG or if it's credentials or it's one of these kind of cards you describe where you're not expecting 10s. If it's an ultra modern shiny, you got to hit the 10 or it's just you missed. You lose. It's the ones where you can hit a double and still be happy. You know what I mean? You get a PSA 6 on a red PMG. That's still cool. You know, it's still a great mail day. It's a great grade reveal and you're having fun. Those are my favorite kind of grade reveals. And so that's generally speaking, the kind of cards that I send off is where I don't absolutely have to get a 10. I've noticed that some of your biggest cards that you own are in BGS labs. Talk to me about BGS and PSA and where you think that's going now that PSA has acquired BGS. What are they going to do? They're going to run it into the ground like SGC? Or are they going to try to resuscitate a dead company and make them viable again? I know what I think, but I want to hear what you think.
I honestly think nothing is going to happen. I think maybe they're going to put some money into Beckett just to, you know, keep it flowing. Okay, but I don't think they're going to make any changes. They're not going to kill the brand. They're not going to make it bigger. You know, they're not going to introduce new things or make the slabs better. I think that everything is going to be status quo. Maybe you know, increase some of the resources just to keep the turnaround times good. Okay. Maybe see increase in prices, that's for sure. Okay, but as far as the brand or as far as the slab is concerned, I don't think anything's going to change.
Everything you just said is basically they're going to let them die on their own, and I agree 100%. I think they're just going to let them die. You know, that's what's going to happen. Beckett was already dying, and it's sad because Beckett was king back when I did it. You know, I had a bunch of cards from 2003. I sent all of them to Beckett. Beckett was king, man. BGS was everything. Everybody wanted those thick BGS slabs. They had subgrades. Nobody else did. Nobody would have considered sending all their LeBron rookies and stuff to PSA. Never. Nobody ever would have considered that. And hell, people were even crossing 86 Fleer Jordan PSA 10s. They were trying to cross it to BGS 95s. And boy, the world has changed a lot. And I don't know if it's ever going back, but I do believe Beckett is dwindling. And it's very sad to see for somebody who you know, relied on them and cared so much about those magazines and Dr. Beckett and what he did with BGS. What about 2026? What is one thing in 2026 that sort of caught your eye? I watched one of your recent videos about 2026, and I've done a couple as well. What's your number one goal in 2026 as a collector or an investor?
Oh, okay. I guess for me personally, I want to improve on the content first, right? So that's on the content side. But from the cards perspective, I think I just want to, you know, like I said, the 5-card goal. I just want to continue to build on the best 5 cards that I can get. I think that 2026, if we see that the prices in 2025 is expensive, I believe 2026 is going to be even more expensive. I feel that doesn't mean that the market's gonna go on a bull run and things like that. I just think that generally the good stuff is gonna become pricier and pricier.
We got to be close to the peak. We got to be close.
I think peak is very subjective, right?
Okay, let me be very clear. The nearest peak, right? This is the way I say it. You tell me if you agree or disagree. This is what I've been telling people. Just like we called 2021 the peak, right? We called 2021 the peak. The cards for the most part, many of the cards crashed, including the cards that I love the most, cards that we thought were immune from that 2022, 23, 24 down, and then they start to rise. And now we've got what I'm calling a new peak, right? This is even, some of these cards are even way high, some of them way higher than 2021 prices. I feel like it's a cycle, and we might see in another 3-4 year cycle where we're going to hit this mountaintop and these cards are going to go nuts. People are going to just get hurt. People are going to flood the market with supply. Demand's going to even come back maybe a little bit for certain types of cards. We're going to see cards come way, way, way down. People like you and me are going to look at those cards and say, you know what? I didn't want a Kaboom back then, but hell, it might be worth looking at right now. You know what I mean? Or maybe I will buy a downtown, or maybe I will buy, fill in the blank Wembanyama. And then cards will start to do their thing again, and we'll just go from peak to valley to peak to valley to peak to valley. And I think every peak is going to be a little bit higher than the peak that was 3 or 4 years before it. I think 2026, we're going to start to see some pullback. I just honestly believe that, especially on the rare non-rookie ultra modern stuff, case hit stuff, one of ones, patch auto stuff. I really, really, really believe that.
I think I guess depends on the space that you're operating in, right? So for me, I completely ignore the ultra modern stuff. Like I know I'm observer. I see the trends. I see what's selling well. Why is this high? Blah blah blah. But I don't get involved, right? So even if you tell me a Kaboom price for a particular card crashes by 50% next week, it doesn't really bother me as much, right? I'm only concerned if a 97 credentials drop by 20%, right? I'll be concerned on that one. I'll be concerned if any exquisite cards suddenly show a downward trend. Yeah, I'll be concerned about that one, right? But if Kaboom's drop 50%, downtimes drop 50%, it doesn't make much of a difference to me, because it doesn't mean that I'm going to, look, it's cheap now, I'm going to take some money and then put into Kabooms. I don't think that will happen either.
The investor stuff you're doing, talk me through the types of cards that you're moving, that you're buying low, selling high, or buying, grading, selling. Talk to me about those types of cards. What kind of cards are we talking about? I don't get the impression that it's Kabooms or downtowns or color blasts and stuff like that. I still get the impression that it's maybe from the mid 90s to maybe 2012-ish, maybe something like that. Is that kind of your comfort zone for investing as well?
I think my cutoff right now is 2018. So of course, Luka's here. I still look at good value if there's a Luka rookie autos, SGA as well. So I still look at 2018. Maybe jump. I would skip 2017, 2016, and before that. But generally, I have a couple of set of players that I look at, right? Besides from the usual big names, there are of course 90s names: Duncan, Garnett, Shaquille O'Neal, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady. And then we talk about the more modern players. There's Luka, SGA, maybe Anthony Edwards to some extent. I got burned by Anthony Edwards a couple of weeks back. Kind of like he's playing well, but I don't know why actually lose money on them. Maybe it's just timing. But that's why I try to stay away from modern players. But the one player that I missed out on, which I feel that I should be looking very closely, is actually Jokic. So
yeah, I know. I feel the exact same way. I'm so jealous of our mutual friend Chris McGill. Whenever I see him post these Jokic's, he was way ahead of everybody, right? He saw it before everybody else did, and the guy's going to end up being a top 10 all time. He's going to be top 10 all time. I know that's crazy because that means he's passing Olajuwon, Shaq, Curry. He's passing somebody. Like he's got to pass somebody to get top 10 because there's some big names in there. Magic, Bird, all these guys, right? Shaq, whatever. Fill in the blank. I just think he's gonna be there. Do you think he's a top 10 resume guy all time?
Yeah.
By the time it's over, by the time his career is finished,
I think so. Because especially people now today will remember him very well, right? Compared to some of the earlier greats, for what he has achieved and the way he's played, and his IQ. So definitely people remember him and definitely will include him in their top 10. It's like how people always put Shaq in their center, right? We have great centers before. We have Kareem, we have Will, but people tend to put Shaq because Shaq is the name that they can remember, they can relate to. And I think Jokic is going to fall into that category as well.
Agreed. I think you're right. Who's a prospect you like? I know you don't buy ultra modern, but if you were forced to buy ultra modern, who's a prospect that you like and trust? And you can't choose Wembanyama and you can't choose Cooper Flag. You got to choose somebody else. I'm taking those two guys off the board. Those guys are can't miss. You got to pull somebody else out of a hat right here. Put you on the spot. You got to buy ultra modern.
What year are we counting from? Maybe that will help me.
Post 2022.
Post 2022. Oh.
So the last 3 draft classes.
So I guess Paulo Banchero, maybe.
Okay, because you're a Magic guy.
I'm not an Orlando Magic fan, right? But to be fair, I mean, he just came back from injury. He's not playing his best, right?
He's not.
And I see some of the cards are relatively lower than expected.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very tempted to buy, but that just goes against any of my investment greens right now. But you know, but if you ask me to choose, besides Wembanyama, I think that would be my choice.
Stick with your favorite team. Well, you know, the issue with the Magic is they go as Suggs goes, and Suggs is always hurt. And so you can't you can't win NBA basketball games without a point guard. You just can't do it, man. It can't be done. It's never been done. It's never going to be done. And Suggs is legit. Suggs is quality. He's probably a little bit stronger on the defensive end than the offensive end, but he's always injured. And so you find them with a backup point guard trying to be a starting point guard. And then the other thing is, like, it seems like Banchero's healthy, Wagner's hurt. Wagner's healthy, Banchero's hurt. And then they've just got a bunch of trash at center. No offense, but they just don't have a center, and they've got to put a center on their team.
It's frustrating as a fan. It is definitely frustrating. So, you know, and people, I've got friends in Malaysia who knows that I'm a diehard Orlando Magic fan. I've been a fan since 1993, Penny Hardaway days, right? So he's my OG guy. So but you know, and sometimes when I meet up with them, you know, they do laugh. Oh, hey, guess what? France is injured again. Yes, I know. Hey, you got Paulo's injured again. Yes, I know. So,
I know.
So
Suggs is never healthy. Yes, you know. Jonathan Isaac too. We can keep going down the list, right? These guys are snake bitten. But here's the deal: they got Bane. Did you like the Bane trade? What they had to give up to get Bane? Are you happy about that?
I was excited, right?
Very excited.
Four future first round picks. If you're gonna flush your future down the toilet, it's got to be for Desmond Bane.
yeah, I agree. Well, he fits them so well. I mean, they had no shooting, and you know, and I know people think Wagner could shoot because he's a white guy. No, it doesn't work that way. He's not a great shooter. Bane's a great shooter, and he fits perfect at the shooting guard. Plus, he's a pro, and he gets it, and he's a clean, true pro. They got to do something though, and the trade deadline's coming up. There's some crazy stuff that's about to happen. Trae Young's getting traded. We know that. Anthony Davis, it sounds like very likely is going to get traded. I don't know who wants those guys. It sounds like maybe even John Morant, LaMelo Ball might even be touched, although the Hornets have been winning a little bit lately, so I don't know if LaMelo is going to go, but I wouldn't be surprised if John Morant's on a different team. What do you think about John Morant's cards? What do you think about his card prices? What do you think about him as an investment? I would never in a million years touch that guy.
Stay away. I think it can be very tempting that some of his nice cards, like his flawless RPAs, are criminally undervalued right now. Like they're way cheap right now, but I think it's just a trap. Yeah. So even if John Moran gets traded to any team, okay, I don't think it's going to help his card prices. At least maybe you get a little bit of a jolt for a couple of weeks. But that'll be it.
If you've got to take one of those guys, if the Magic made a trade for one of these two names, which of these two would you want, John Morant or Zion Williamson? You got to take one on the Magic. You got to take one.
I'm very biased. I actually like Zion. All right. I mean, as a player, when he's not hurt, when he's not fat, but I actually like Zion. So I have a friend from Hong Kong. Okay, we actually set up in the recent Macau show. He's a huge Zion fan, and every year, he is so optimistic on Zion making the biggest comeback ever, right? Even for this season, when I met up with him in October before the season started, he had this Zion collection out there. He had one-on-ones, and he didn't have logo mans, but he had some very cool Zion stuff. Yeah. And people will walk past our table and say, "Ooh, Zion, no?" So I wasn't sure whether or not were they making fun of him or were they truly impressed, but he definitely felt good having all the Zions there.
Yeah. I got bad news for your friend. Zion just doesn't love basketball, dude. I just don't think he loves the sport of basketball. I just don't think he gives a damn about putting a ring on his finger and proving everybody wrong. I think he's got paid a lot, and, he came from not much money, and now he's got as much money as anybody could ever want. And I just worry about guys with that mindset. I'm not sure that there's a light at the end of the tunnel for those guys, unfortunately. But
what about your favorite player, Giannis? Is he going anywhere?
I was I was saying maybe over the last 4 weeks, I was thinking 50% chance he gets traded at the deadline this, midseason, 50% chance in the offseason. Now I think it's probably 10% chance at the deadline, 90% chance in the offseason. I think there may be a 0% chance he's on the Bucks next year. I don't see any way possible because there's nothing the Bucks can do anymore. They have no more assets. They have no more bullets in the chamber. They can't change this roster. I don't think. And if they go do this thing with Trae Young, which people are talking about, I don't think that's the answer either. It would be very exciting. I'll be honest with you. I would very much enjoy watching these last 4 months of Giannis on the Bucks if Trae Young was the point guard, but I don't think that's an answer. I don't think it's going to get them over the hump. It may get them, somewhere in the East, but it's not going to get them where they need to be, for Giannis to put another chip on his resume. But I've been buying Giannis like crazy. I don't know if you noticed. Like I've actually I sold all of them, and now I'm buying all back in. And I'm maybe using some flawed logic, but I'm looking back at 2021 prices for Kobe, for Jordan. For Steph Curry, and the prices now they're gone. They're way past 2021 prices. Giannis down 75%, down 80%. And I know he's an active player and he's in his prime, so it's a little different than comparing him with those goats. But I figured, if you're going to buy the dip. I know it sounds like a cliche, but let's buy the dip and let's see what happens. I mean, how much more can they go down? I'm buying. There's the red Prism PSA 10 was a $45,000 card. I'm buying them for $5. How much more can they go down? I mean, my risk is very low and my reward is potentially very high. Even if he gets traded and never wins another title, if this guy ends up on like the Knicks or the Lakers or somehow gets to Dallas or San Antonio, for God's sakes, I just got to believe that alone is enough and his cards are going to catch fire. I just believe that. That's purely as an investor, and it's hard to separate because he's my favorite, so it's hard to separate investor from love, but I don't see him being on the Bucks next year. What about you? You think he sticks around? I think he's done with the Bucks.
I think he's done as well. But the funny thing is this, I feel it's a bit of a waste. So when the Bucks won the chip a few years back, against Phoenix, both teams, I felt that both teams were good. Right. And you didn't have to change anything subsequently. And I just wondered why they did that. So, and then it went downhill from there for both of them.
Yeah. It's funny. These teams that win titles, people are always looking at the stars. Like OKC just won with, SGA. The Bucks, when they won, they're looking at Giannis, right? And they're looking at Middleton. What people don't notice is a lot of times these teams are winning because they've got really, really quality players on rookie contracts or on steal contracts. The Bucks had Portis. The Bucks had Michael Brogdon when they were winning those titles. Those guys were not getting paid anything. OKC just won. They've got Casey Wallace on a rookie contract, Chet Holmgren on a rookie contract, Jalen Williams on a rookie contract. And so a lot of people don't understand. It's almost like you've got these free players, and these are players, man. I mean, these guys are players. That's kind of what's happening right now in San Antonio while nobody's watching. You got a Victor Wembanyama, a top 10 player of the league for sure, on a rookie contract. Dylan Harper on a rookie contract. Stephon Castle on a rookie contract. It's just hard for teams like the Bucks where it's just a bunch of old dudes on huge contracts to compete with that, man. And it's also hard to recycle it and get back to where San Antonio is. You got to just get damn lucky. And San Antonio really, I would not be surprised if San Antonio is a factor in the West this year. And I would never have guessed that at the beginning of the year. So
they kind of like on paper, they're kind of like missing like that big scorer, I think. But they kind of like prove everybody wrong that, collectively they can score from every position. Yep. So I guess that's a win.
Yep. There's depth for sure. Well, that's it, man. Look, I want to reiterate again. I want everybody to go. We got to get this, man. We got to get this up. Let's see. Where are we at? All right. We're at 308 subscribers. I'm going to let this video go in a couple weeks. So you got to give me some time, but I'm going to get my Cajun Army to come subscribe and check you out, because I know some of the best feedback I get on the videos that I do are the investment type videos. Some of my videos are all over the place, but the investment type videos, people love them, right? And I'm not telling people what to invest in. I'm just showing them stuff and sharing numbers. And that's exactly what you do, in addition to being better than me at bringing on big guests. I'm terrible at that. I've got to get better at that. And I promise you, anytime you want me on the channel, I'm yours. All you got to do is say the word. We'll figure out a time, and I'll come on there and we'll talk about cards again. We'll talk about badminton. You just got to give me some time. Let me do my research, right? So let me do some research.
No, I will get you on, but you're a very busy man these days with a new website and stuff like that. And you're doing the the new Kobe project. It's you're doing things, man. I mean, I guess at one point I know that you're a lawyer, so you have a full-time job, and then you do content on the side, and then look at how much you have done. You do content every single day, and then now you got this big thing that's going on. I just don't know. And then you got a family of how many kids? 7
kids.
I don't know how you do it, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm failing in one category.
So.
I'm failing in one category. I can't get these kids to collect cards. I can't get any of them to collect cards. None of them will do it. I've tried so hard. I can't get anybody to collect cards. But I never stop thinking about it. And I get the feeling you're the same way. Your brain is always spinning. If you're eating breakfast, you're thinking about cards or content and ideas and video topics. If you're if you're in the shower, you're thinking about it. If you're at dinner, you're thinking about it. If you're, on the internet, you're looking at cards. You're always on your phone. You're watching games and you're thinking of moves to make. And that's okay. For a while there, people had to be ashamed of being investor driven and investor mindset. That is no longer the case, man. I think everybody is a hybrid somewhere in there. You're a builder. I'm a hybrid. Everybody's got a little bit of each in there. Nobody wants their cards to go down. And so I think I think there's a bright future for you and your channel. And so I'm going to be following very, very closely. And I appreciate you joining us all the way from 10,000 miles away in Malaysia, man. I really do appreciate
it, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. This won't be the last time, I promise you. And I'm going to see you in Chicago. You may not see me in Macau. I'm too old, but I will see you in Chicago one of these years. I promise you.
One of these years. Yeah, one of these years. I think our common friend Craig from Australia.
Yeah.
I think he's committed for Chicago.
He's in. Yeah, he's in. He's going to come in there and dropping F-bombs and everything. They may kick him out, man. He's going to have to watch his mouth up here in the U.S., man. They're not going to fly. That's not going to fly on the National Card Show. Yeah, he's going to be shocked. It is one hell of a sight to see. And I know Macau was like amazing as well. I'm curious to get, the perspective of somebody who's been to both. So maybe we can get you up to Chicago one day and you can compare and contrast. Yeah, for sure, cool. Man. Well, Pong, thank you for joining the channel, guys. Go check out Courtside Investor Podcast and the Card Boss 2021 on Instagram, and we're going to get him back on the channel. I promise you that. Thank you, guys, as always, for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby. And peace. I appreciate it.